Hello, everybody. Today, I wanted to go and do some work on starting a series in terms of building an object in Blender and then proceeding to texture it and then getting it into C-Power. And depending on viewers' requests and all that stuff, we can go into setting up weapons and other features and whatnot as well. So hopefully this will be not too complicated. But yeah, so to get started, we just need to go and open up Blender or whatever program that you're willing to, build in, and then we just need to start building. So, well, let's go. We got a duck. Duck is reasonably spherical. Um, let's just bring this down a bit. And also go to modeling. Let's just smooth flat. Boom. Nice little smooth little sphere. And then we can just start shaping a little bit. So this is not going to be like an amazing model. Not by a long shot. But it's just something that's going to help you get started. So that will probably do for like a little body section. Let's go for some wings. I gotta remember to use Blender control settings. I am kind of a bit too used to using, well, everything else. Currently in the process of learning Maya at the moment. Okay, and let's just use, let's go Shift, right click. We are in 3D cursor. I'm gonna do this to, I was hoping, well, I was hoping I was gonna get it resized up, but oh well. Sometimes bits work, sometimes bits don't. This is going to be a very chunky duck, given that I'm trying to build this reasonably quickly. If I wanted to put more time into it, there's a whole lot of things I'll do. Like, actually, we could take plane, go into edit by pressing tab. Let's subdivide it a few times. And then we can click on our vertices. So these points are verts. That is an edge. And you can select from through 1, 2, and 3 to get your face. So 1 for vert, 2 for edges, and 3 for faces. At the moment, I just want to do vertices. We are just going to press A, select all. Let's hide the sphere. And dissolve that corner. Dissolve this corner. Right click. We can do a bevel. Excuse me. we are just gonna like slowly try to build out something that resembles a wing. Let's go back to that one. At least that's the idea. AC base. Okay. So now that part is kind of done. Let's select all. And I'm just going to just use the extrude for now. Hold down Alt, do the edge loops. Hold down Alt and Shift. We're going to do the other edge loops. Go boom. Let's smooth this out a bit. And I'm going to click here. Then I hold down Control just to get a quick selection going. And let's get that a bit more of a point. Bring it up a little bit more in the polys, and this will probably do for now. So bring back the old sphere. Select all that. Let's rotate. Give it a position. Probably need to just shrink it a bit. And not to mention, probably need to go change its shape a bit more as well. Yes, I do. But the I figured I'll try to just do something of a guide on just quickly building something and inputting it into CPower. Get that smooth. Oof. That is an ugly line. Well, you know what? Okay, look, I don't do animals that well. So, alright, you're right, CBase. Let's start a new one. And go to the tab. Subdivide. And let's just shape this out. Use Move Tool. Bring that forward. Bring it down. Definitely gonna need to make this nice and long. And a lot of the times you're gonna find like a lot of boats that are not very complicated in the rear. cube to the top. Shrink it down a little bit. We need a little bit of shape. So give it a bit of that. I'll leave the back open, and I'm gonna add a cylinder. Scale it down a little bit. A lot of funnels I tend to find are a bit narrow. And then let's tilt it. Go into edit, like that. I'm just going to do an insert. Raise that up just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more defined shape. And probably just do another insert. Just to represent that little bit. Oh, excuse me. Do a little cube on the back. Ah, I've got them all selected. So, because I've added this while I'm in edit mode, they are counted as two things. So I just want to go separate into loose parts, and then boom. I don't need to worry about them being attached to each other anymore. Which is what I would like. And now we've done this. Let's scale that down. And give it a little bit of a rise. We can put a gun right there. And just to finish up, do another bevel. We'll go and bevel the shape up. I'm just going to press J to connect these 2 points up a bit. Now, just to be clear, this is not how I would build a model. When I build models, I have plans and everything. But for just doing this, just do a demonstration. this shall be fine. So that's going to be where the rudder goes. And let's just do a bit of tidy up. Just give a few clean faces to work with. Subdivide that. And okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. Oh, alright. Okay, so next stage. Got a little boat all, drawn up. She's got a mount, a gun mount and everything. Next stage is I'll just select all. I'm gonna go to the UV editing window. For the most part, I'm just gonna do Smart Unwrap just to get started. Technically speaking, this one would not be hard to manually unwrap. Like you just do something along the lines of like this. Right click, mark seams, because then you got all your points there. I hate. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of son of a bitch. Just saw a mouse. I'll have to go get a trap out. Got that seam. And then mark up that one. Oh, and let's do that. Do that. And okay. And yeah, so that should in theory, have done everything. Oh, temporary lost connection. Um, you could do stuff like, let's go face, select that. I'm gonna, there we go, and that. Okay, and then you can do project from view. Some reason I've got extra stuff. Why? And you can also do select like similar stuff like I think there's edge loops and all that stuff. Just reset it back, and also I'm going to add some gaps. It just helps with when you do the painting side of things to have gaps. Yeah, okay. I am not a fan. Now it's done this. Now the only problem with doing project from view is just the scale. Do that. This is project from view, so projecting from view is going to have issues. Just, just to be clear, um, it will never be great. That's easy to fix up because they are two separate things. Um, front. Ah, never mind. Go to the top. Do those. I've made a mess. So we're gonna do average island scale, and I'm gonna go and do pack islands, scale everything. Now that's just arrange everything how, you know, in a space basically, and that will do for now. So go to export, export it as an OBJ file, and let's go and make a new folder, call it, I don't know, let's go and call it tugboat 1. Just turning that off. Alrighty, and then our next stage. Now, what you texture in is going to be entirely up to you. There is no be and end all program. I use Substance Painter because, well, it's something I've learnt, something I've used. There is a painter program in Blender itself. I've never used it, so I can't really tell you how it goes. But you can do similar stuff to what I'm about to do in here. So we're going to start a new project. We're going to start it as, I'm just going to do a 1K texture because I'm not expecting much. I'll just leave that as is. I have my setup to only generate missing files. So if I did miss some UV points, that's just the cover my ass. And then let's go and find tugboat. I only have a few folders. And boom, tugboat is in. Tugboat is also looking very sharp. I don't really want it looking sharp. So back in Blender, I'm going to just select everything, go into edit, and let's, where is it? Shade smooth. And now that's smooth stuff out. And next part is, I do want some sharp lines. Don't want that to be a sharp line. I'd like that to be rounded. So I'm going to just go and select all this, clear sharp, and boom. Now this is just helping with the normals, on like mesh normals that is. So if you don't do that stuff, it will, yeah. It's not gonna look right. You're gonna have weird shadows and stuff going on. So you need to always try to work on balancing it. And I'm just gonna make sure all my normals calculations have been redone. And we can see, yeah, it's looking a lot smoother. Now I will, because this is a sharp edge anyways. I'll make this all sharp, just to tidy that area up a bit. And just quickly rebalance all this again. Alright, easy. Re-export that. We can use the same file. I can then go back over here into Substance Painter, re-import the model. Boom, she's looking much more rounded there. General stages is you gotta start with baked models. A lot of the stuff you don't really need. I just kind of use them anyways. Normally I use 16 times super sampling for my AA. but for this time, just for the sake of time, I'm only going to use 4. So it shouldn't take too long to do the baking process. And for In Substance Painter, the baking process is important because it gives you a lot of useful information. Like it adds all these little shadows and stuff in there. So something else I'm going to do is actually do some separating. There's some parts don't want. I don't want to have all together. Like the holder boat, it's going to be different colored. This is going to be different. That's going to be different, etc., etc. I didn't realize I made it same part. Okay. And that is not, it's just not looking right. Now I can, even though it's been UV unwrapped and everything, you can still do a little bit of light work, like editing. Hopefully, there we go. Just adding a little bit more topology to try and fix up some of these, yeah, dodgy looking lines. I think the main problem is this is too long. And alright. Pressing the wrong buttons. I'm not going to stress about it. It is nagging me a little bit, but for the sake of just getting a move on, I'm not going to worry about it too much. And just refresh the bake. Okay, easy enough. Alright, look, if you've ever used anything like Photoshop or GIMP or any of those programs, Substance Painter works the same way. And everything you want to do pretty much revolves around setting up layers. And just, yeah, building layers on layers on layers. Um, so, let's go and do some quick little stuff. Bring offset in. Get rid of those. Let's fix that. So we can see it's crooked there because it's tilted to that axis. Um, but if I do play around with the rotation values here, I can smooth this out. Um, put that like that. I'm going to do a little bit of this. And the other thing I need to do, project, gets both sides. And that does some reasonable little hole lines. And let's get the deck going. What do we want? Wood? God, that looks ugly. Again, that looks ugly too, but I can make this one work. So I'm going to do this. This is what I was telling you about in terms of how stuff is all made up on lots and lots of stuff. Um, would like to make this smaller, but oh well. Let's get this thing back out. That's 0. Let's do triplanar. Kind of looks more like bricks now. Do that. I might go back to warp projection, scale that out. Rotate it. And let's just scale it back out again. And to fix up this wonkiness, let's go tiling. Fix all that up. I'm gonna set it to repeat. And get our points. And let's go and bring it in a bit. Everything. Just want to move this forward so that's more or less in line with that point. So I can select these, shrink them. Shrink them in. It does look a little bit wonky because this is not doing straight. And I'm not 100% sure as to why it's doing curves, but anyways, it doesn't matter at this point. We're just building a little wonky boat. That is a little bit better. And I'm going to duplicate this one. We're going to add a mask. Gonna add a generator. Get rid of the original UDA. Yep. Gonna add an anchor point to you. Go back to here. Let's get some. Let's do dirt. Add the anchor. I think we need a better color. Let's just play with this a little bit. Now I can make this look better. Um, the method involved would be to do the UV, um, the UV perhaps a lot better in order to go and make sure everything was all flat and lined up and yeah, yada yada yada. I don't know what a bore is. Okay, next, black mask, and paint layer. Let's go and do, let's do that. And symmetry is here. Save me a little bit of time. And just adding some basic outline features. Um, Things you can do is you can use smart materials to speed some stuff up. Like, let's just do metal. Unfortunately, this is loading a lot of stuff, so it takes a long time. And then the other problem is you're gonna have to play around with everything. Mm, height, boom. Make sure it has zero reflections in there. And oh, what else do we need? Guessing doors? Check that in. Let's just go height. It's kind of my go-to object when it comes to yeah, hatches and doors. Duplicate that. to X position. Boom, get on both sides. Need another black mask, and this is going to be our windows. So for windows, we want to give it a white speck. And needs a lot of gloss. And also just a little bit of decrease in the height. And for this, I like to just go alphas and get a brick for this example, or this. Alright, let's just change that color a little bit. Mm. Okay. Just quickly save this up. Let's do export. And boom. So when I go into the folder, oh, wait, that did not, why? Default material isn't available. Okay. Okay. Well, at least that one worked. don't. Okay, doesn't matter. I've got what I need. Alright, go to textures. Alright, next fun part. Clicking on the right thing. We need to go to our CPower folder, which you can go to by going to Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, CPower, Data, Streaming, Assets, and in User is where we are going to do everything. So we're going to add in Tugboat 1. This is where everything's going to be put. And I need that, I need that, and that one. And I need the OBJ file, which for this instance, I'm going to update. We are going to just join them all again and call it Tugboat as our object name. Nothing fancy. And she's sitting in the right level. So this green line is kind of where she's going to sit in the water. I'm just going to raise it up. Tugboat. I'll just call it test. Okay. Now this is actually going to be giant. Thinking about it. Like, what size do we need to make this thing? So if I click over it, there's this little arrow over here. Currently, this boat is saying it is 9 meters long. I don't know. Let's go and say that it's going to be 35 meters long. And the other part that I need is the scale information. So export scale. So go into here, into scale right there, type in this lovely long number. This is the Unity scale, which is going to export. Now I've got to close all this stuff because it does not behave nicely with CPower. Okay. Shouldn't need that anymore. So what I need now is I need some map files. So let's just borrow one of these. Saves me having to do a lot of typing. And that's not what I want. Okay. Alright, so this is the default shader that the game uses. That we don't need. And now we just need to set up locations. So this is in the, getting rid of that. It's in the ships folder under Tugboat. Tugboat 1. So just update. And then I just need to copy and paste these files here. Save that. Call it Tugboat Map. And now, let's go original, and yeah, we'll get that. So I just copied these from the original and put it into the vessels folder in the user folder. This is if you're intending on making a mod that you want to, like, you know, put up on the workshop and everything. My advice would be to make a folder like these and put them in and do it that way. Because when you put a folder into the streaming assets file and you put in an info map file, an INI info file, it lets you just load it up locally, like in the mod manager. If you have something in the user folder, it's always loaded. It's like a priority load system. So I'm just going to open this up. Let's just make sure sensors. Yeah, there's nothing important in this that's going to break. Then the other thing, next thing I gotta do is just get my directory, which is Tugboat 1, the file, just that. And this being an import, we need to put an extension. We need the mesh name, which is just Tugboat, all lowercase. And we're not going to be using damage models, so we can just hash it or delete it, doesn't matter. And then last of all, the map file. Disable those because I don't need them, at least not for at the moment. Save that. Now we can just load up CPAL. When it wants to load. To the encyclopedia. Watch my computer chug for some reason. I think it's generally because I've been using it all day. It's been in standby multiple times, and it's been doing a lot of heavy work. I've been doing a lot of um, been using a lot of like 3D modeling programs, Substance Painter and all that stuff all day. Alright, so let's go and check. Where was it? Fishing boats. Okay. Scale's a bit broken. Let's fix the scale. I could have sworn I put it in there. Just need to get the copy and paste the number back. Open this again. Replace that. Get back in here. F10. Respawn. Hey, there we go. And that is, well, essentially a very simple boat. Has been edited up and thrown in. What does it need? It needs a gun. Alright, let's give it a gun before I finish up. So I need that. And we need to go and work out what gun we're gonna add. Let's go Oslo. Just because I happened to scroll through it. And the Oslo, what does she have? She's got 40 mils, 20 mils, and I'm pretty sure she has something else. Alright, let's just go for the 76 mil. So I'm kind of copying that in. Just go and find, Control F to do find. We need these. Just get rid of those for a moment. Just don't need them. Boom. And then next part is need to go and add in a few other little bits. So let me just quickly find something that will have all the lines I need. Yeah, this should do. So because I'm importing the turret for another model, I need to add in the resources mesh folder and root mesh, which I'll update those, and also resources material folder as well for the map file. This is not an issue because it's already using a texture pack that's being used all over the place. Just need to add those. Save. Respawn. Oh, look at that. We have a gun. The gun is not in the right place though. So we have our X, Y, and Z value. Z value is very far forward. I think if I could put it to a 1, maybe, and to speed this up. Oh, so close. Hey, there we go. She has a little 3-inch gun, and now the only other part that we're gonna need now is we need to get the weapon file data, which is this one. That's gonna go here. And this ship doesn't have a weapon entry, so we're gonna add that as well. Set that to 1, change that to 1. And the only other thing I need to worry about doing right now is adding in a magazine for the ammo, which in this situation is this part. And that is that. So the important thing to note is, well, I'm going to set the sensor. The important thing to take from all this is when you're importing a weapon, you need the container and the mount to be something in the submodel folder. Without that, you're stuffed. And main thing is, at the moment, we've got our mount, which is doing a rotation. We've got the container, and then there's the gun. All of these are linking to our submodel list. We have our firing arcs. Firing arcs go clockwise, so left to right. And that's pretty broad range of fire there. So if I go save, refresh, we have a gun, and it works. Let's get some targets. Helicopters. What do we get? Yes. Set to camera. Boom. So the reason why you can't see it right now is because of the LOD level of detail um, is currently not long enough because I did not include a level of detail thing in there. If you want to add load models in here, it would just be a matter of like say copying this or and putting in an LOD tag on the end of it, like this. If you want to add in damage models, you have to add in a dirt on the end. If you're going to do colliders, add in a coal. And if you're going to do a collider as well, it needs to be convex. So a cube works, that's fine. A sphere works, but like at the moment, this would not work. So yeah, so I know that wasn't the most straightforward little tutorial on how to build a little tugboat, paint it, and then get it into Sea Power. It certainly is not as straightforward as I would like it to be, but hey, that is essentially how quick and easy it can be. There is a lot more you need to look at when setting up ships. Like say for example, putting in a prop, putting in a rudder. Those bits are important because up in this section here, well, it's looking for this. This doesn't break it, but it is going to complain a little bit in the logs saying, hey, I can't find the rudder. You say I have rudder, but I can't find it. Adds, you know, adds features and stuff to the ship. And you got your sensors and all that stuff. Obviously, I'm using a fishing boat, so it doesn't have any sensors on it. But like, you know, you've got all these different things, and please remember you have to update the number of systems and all that stuff if you go and add extras, and these are all linked to something as well. Okay, so these are all linked. That means that you'll be, if you go down to the submodel list, you will find these objects in the submodel list. The system name stuff, you'll find that in, let's go in here, into original, you find that in systems. Like for sensors, you find that in here. Just do that. Boom. That's where all that information is kept for that stuff. For weapons. Again, that's all in here. The weapon item is more or less your controls more like refire and reload and stuff. And this is a missile system, so it's not a good example. But yeah. So that just controls like your reloads. You know, a few other little bits here and there. But when it comes to like ammunition, all their stats, it's all in here. So we can go and find, let's go 75 mil. You know, it's saying, hey, it can do AEW work. It can do some secondary surface work. Muzzle, range, and the max range is influenced by two factors. This is the max, so that is the max range that the projectile can go, but your sensors also need to be able to beat that range. And yeah, there's a bunch of other things. So anyways, if you guys have any questions or want things to be directed in a more specialized focused way, let me know and I can look at trying to come up with more straightforward guides and tutorials. But besides that, I hope you all have a good day and bye.